We've talked before about how to recognize passive voice verbs in Latin, but today we want to talk about how to make those passive forms, specifically in the present, imperfect, and future tenses. It's actually very easy, and you really already know how. So today we want to talk about passive formation. Step number one. For present, imperfect, or future tenses, do what you normally do. Whatever that is. If that's drop the RE from the second dictionary entry, do that. If it's drop the O from the first dictionary entry, do that. If it's add an ending that has BA in it because it's imperfect, do that. Do whatever you normally do, then make some changes. And this is like we saw in the other video. So we'll put our singular and plural columns back up. First person, second person, and third person rows. If you're doing a first person singular verb that ends in O or M, you change that to an R. If the verb ends in S, second person singular, you change it to RIS. If it's third person singular, T, you change that to TUR. If it's first person plural, MUS, change that to MUR. If it's second person plural, TIS, change that to MINI. Or if it's third person plural ending in NT, change that to NTUR. I should actually go back and say something about first person singular. If it ends in O, you actually want to change that to OR. If that's true, let's see if we can conjugate a verb in the passive voice. Let's take something like, how about teneo? Teneo, tenera, tenui, tentus, the verb meaning to hold. I want to conjugate that in the imperfect passive. So we'll set our singular and plural columns up. First person, second person, and third person rows. So on your own paper, you need to decide which conjugation is teneo tenera. Follow the rules for conjugating that kind of verb in the imperfect tense, and then make the appropriate changes so that the endings are passive. Go ahead and pause the video and try that now. What you should have realized is that teneo is in fact a second conjugation verb because of that long ERE. For the imperfect tense, we drop the RE off. TENE becomes our stem. And then we're going to add our new imperfect endings. Instead of BAM, I'm going to put BAR, tenebar. Instead of BAS, I'm going to put BARIS, tenebaris. Instead of BAT, BATUR, tenebatur. Instead of BAMUS, we'll put BAMUR, tenebamur. Instead of BATIS, we'll put BAMINI, tenebamini. And for third person plural, instead of BANT, we'll put BANTUR, tenebantur. Now right now, go ahead and give the English for each of these 6 forms, remembering the helping word for imperfect tense, was or were, and our helping words for passive voice, be, being, or been. Go ahead and pause the video and try that now. What you should have come up with was, I was being held. You were being held. He, she, or it was being held. We were being held. You were being held, and they were being held. That's how we make the imperfect passive for present, imperfect, and future tenses.